Hey guys, this is Emmy Laybourne. I am the author of Monument 14 and Monument 14 Sky on Fire. I'm so excited that you guys are having a book club to discuss my books, and I'm really sorry that we can't do a Skype in person, but I have written down the top 4 questions that I get asked when I talk to groups, so I hope that those are questions that you guys would ask. Before I do those questions though, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I am Emmy Laybourne. I know I already said that. I wrote Monument 14 and Sky on Fire. I said that too. I started out as an actor, actually, as a comedy improviser. I loved writing, and in fact in college I studied creative writing, but when I graduated I was really more drawn to theater, and so for about 5 years I worked as a comedy improviser. It's a job you can actually do. And I did a lot of school shows. And what I liked about doing improv was that you're writing and performing at the same time, and you're writing collaboratively with other people. And what I would find as we would do these school shows was that if we didn't have a good story, if it didn't move forward with a lot of action, the kids would literally stop paying attention. They would start throwing paper at each other and whispering and passing notes. So it was a very good training in story. As I said, after I started doing improv and I developed a bunch of characters. I was really a character actress, and then I started auditioning for TV and films, and I did some work. I worked for about 10 years as a professional actor. And then I got married and got pregnant, and that, by the way, is the correct order for those two things. And I decided to go to film school and really pursue writing. So I went to UCLA and I got a degree in screenwriting. And again, there I learned so much about story, about how to tell a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end, and to even use the concept of beginning, middle, and end as a diagnostic tool. Even now, if I go to the movies and I see a story that's just not working, I can say, oh, it's all middle. There's, where's the excitement, etc. So after film school, my husband needed to relocate to New York, and it didn't really make sense for me to launch a career as a screenwriter from New York City, so instead I turned to writing novels, which I sort of had always known that I wanted to do in the end. I was really lucky in that I have a good friend who's a literary agent, and I took her out to lunch and I pitched her 5 ideas, and she picked the one that is Monument 14. So I wrote a proposal for it, and I wrote the first 150 pages, and we were able to sell that to Macmillan, and that's what launched my career as a novelist. So, to my questions. Here are the most common questions that I'm asked. Question number 1, where do you get your ideas? This is a surprisingly tough question. I think when people ask that question, they're not exactly asking where do you get your ideas, because ideas are all around. You can read the newspaper and you get 50 ideas just from one newspaper. I think the question is really, how do you get your ideas, or even more importantly, how do you know that your ideas are good enough to pay attention to? And that is a complicated thing. A lot of it is about confidence, knowing, because I was an improviser for so long and I wrote stories, I created stories on the spot. I have a sense of what's going to be engaging to an audience that I really use and rely on. But another thing is like Goosebumps. And I'm not talking about the wonderful R.L. Stine series, Goosebumps. Certainly you could get a lot of ideas from there, but that's not the right way to go. I get goosebumps when I get a really good idea. It's sort of an internal signal telling me that I've hit gold. And so I pay attention to that, and I just store those things away. And I put them in the back of my mind, sort of in a stew pot on the back burner, and I just let it all percolate in there. I let it gain strength. That's the best answer I can give you to where do you get your ideas. Question number 2. Do you write, it's going to be backwards. Do you write from an outline, or do you just wing it? I write from a very detailed outline. I really want the Monument 14 books to feel like a roller coaster. I want it to be a thrill ride. I want the reader to be really anxious and wondering what's going to happen next. And in order to do that, and also to juggle 14 characters, I need to have a very detailed, very finely crafted outline. And I will write an outline of the book, and then I'll send it to my editor, and they'll read it and give me notes, and then I take their notes and I do another draft, and then I send it back, and I keep going back and forth until we agree on what the basic shape of the plot of the story is going to be. Because you also don't want to spring any big surprises on your publisher, because the surprises might not be good, and they don't want to get a bad surprise. So anyway, I really write from an outline. Now that's not saying that I don't discover a lot as I'm writing, and I'll be startled and surprised by my characters. Sometimes they want to do things that completely take my breath away. But I find that with the routine and the structure gives me more freedom to work within it. Okay, question number 3. Is Monument 14 going to be a movie? Well, I'm excited to tell you that I sold the option to for Monument 14 to a wonderful production company called Strange Weather Films. And it's unfortunately, selling the option is just sort of step 1. Step 2 is they get a director involved. Step 3 is they write a script. Then step 4 is they get other producers involved and they raise the money. And then step 5, they make the movie. So I have step 1. Step 2, they have a director involved, Brad Peyton. He directed Journey to the Mysterious Island and some other stuff, and he's fantastic. I love this guy. And step 2 is write a screenplay, and Brad has actually written the screenplay. So we're well on our way, but there is a little bit of a way to go. And there's another question I sometimes get along with this, which is, do you have any say in the casting? And the answer is no, I do not have any say in the casting, which is fine. The great thing about movies and being a part of a movie is that they hire people who love their jobs and do a great job. So the ideas of the casting director, whoever he or she may be, will be so far superior to my own ideas. They'll find the perfect Dean and the perfect Astrid and the perfect Jake. Although I do think Josh Hutcherson would be a good choice for Jake. I'm just saying. Last question, do I write every day? That's a question I get a lot. And the answer to that is yes. When I'm on a deadline, when I'm really writing a book, which is my job, I write every day. I try actually to sit down at my computer at the same time every day. And I sort of think of it like I've invited these characters to a cocktail party. I've invited them to come and share their story with me. And if I don't show up, it's kind of rude. And they'll sort of be around for a while and then they wander off because they've got other things to do. So I do write every day. And I have a little routine that I like a lot. Before I finish writing for the day, I'll look ahead and read the outline for the next day's writing. And then in the morning, before I go to bed rather, I remember it, I think about it. I think, okay, what am I writing tomorrow? What's going to happen? Who's involved? What are the stakes? What do they want? What's in their way? And then when I wake up in the morning, I've gathered a lot of ideas. It's really cool. It really happens that way. So by the time I sit down to write, I'm ready to go. So that's a little bit about me and my writing and Monument 14. I wish that I could be there in person with you all, and I'm sorry that I can't, but it's really fun to talk to you guys, and thanks for reading the book, and thanks for reaching out to me. Bye-bye.